Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into Ezekiel chapter 12, a really intense piece of text. Our mission, really, is to get inside it, understand the message, which isn't just words, it's delivered through some pretty dramatic actions.
Yeah, and right away, the context is, well, stark. Ezekiel's talking to a rebellious people.
That phrase itself says so much, doesn't it? It's not just passive disobedience.
No, it feels active. And the text spells it out. They have eyes to see but do not see, and ears to hear but do not hear.
So they can see, they can hear, but they're choosing not to.
Exactly. It's a willful thing.
Yeah.
Which kind of sets the stage for why, just talking isn't going to cut it here. Words alone aren't getting through that wall of denial.
Right. So the word of the Lord comes, and the first instruction isn't go preach this, it's go do this. He's told to pack belongings for exile.
Which immediately, for people clinging to their home, that's a deeply unsettling image to start with.
Definitely. And the instructions get really specific about how he has to do it. And the key thing seems to be as they watch.
Right. It's public. It's performance. Like prophecy as street theater almost.
Yeah, absolutely. So first, in broad daylight, he has to sort of set out, act like he's starting a journey. Then bring out the packed stuff, again, daytime, so everyone sees these aren't just random things.
It's deliberate. Belongings packed for exile. And then, as evening comes, it gets even more specific. He has to go out like those who go into exile.
Mimicking the real thing, the posture, the timing.
Yeah. But then comes the part that, for me, is just, wow, the wall.
Ah, yes. That bit really stands out. It's almost shocking.
It really is. He's told, while they're still watching, mind you, to physically dig through the wall of his own house.
With his hands.
With his hands. Not the door, not the gate.
Yeah.
Breaking through the actual structure, the symbol of home insecurity.
Exactly. Through the wall. And then take his packed stuff out through that hole at dusk.
And carries it on his shoulder.
Puts it on his shoulder, carries it out in the fading light, and this detail is crucial. He has to cover his face so he cannot see the land. That covered face. It's such a powerful image of being cut off, isn't it? Unable even to look back.
Total displacement. Loss. Burdened. Sneaking out through a hole. Face covered. In a visceral picture of a forced, undignified exit.
And the text makes sure we know, so I do as I was commanded. He follows every single step. He doesn't question it. He just embodies the message.
He becomes the sign, which raises that question, why this elaborate physical act? Why not just say, you're all going into exile?
Because, like you said, words weren't working. They weren't seeing or hearing.
Right. This bypasses the arguments, the denial. It forces the image, the feeling onto them in a way words might not.
And apparently it worked, at least to get their attention. The text says the people saw him and asked, "What are you doing?"
Yes. Step 1, achieved. Get noticed. Make them ask. Then step 2, the interpretation comes directly from the sovereign Lord.
And the answer is blunt. This oracle concerns the prince in Jerusalem and the whole house of Israel who are there.
So it's not just Ezekiel being eccentric. His actions are a direct reflection, a mirror for the nation and its leadership.
He's a sign for them.
Exactly, a sign. And the meaning is spelled out. As I have done, so it will be done to them. They will go into exile as captives. His performance is basically a preview of their future.
Okay, so that's the general population. Exile, like Ezekiel acted out. But what about the leadership? The prince mentioned. Does he get off easier?
No. Quite the opposite, actually. The prophecy specifically focuses on the prince among them and said he will do the same things.
The same things, like pack his stuff, put it on his shoulder at dusk.
All of that. And specifically, a hole will be dug in the wall for him to go through, just like Ezekiel. And he'll cover his face, too.
What the covered face for him? Is it the same reason?
The text connects it directly to the outcome. He covers his face so he cannot see the land where he's taken.
Yeah.
And it names the place, Babylonia, the land of the Chaldeans.
Okay.
But it says he will not see it, and there he will die.
Wait, he's brought to Babylonia, but he won't see it, and he dies there. How does that work? That seems paradoxical.
It does, doesn't it? The text doesn't explain the mechanics. Is he blinded? Does he die the moment he arrives? We don't know the literal how, but symbolically, wow.
Yeah, what's the symbolism there?
Well, think about it. The leader, representing the people with eyes to see but do not see, the one who refused to acknowledge the truth, is ultimately physically prevented from seeing the land of his punishment. It's like his willful blindness becomes a literal reality in exile.
That's chillingly ironic.
Isn't it? And it's underscored by God saying, I will spread my net for him, and he will be caught in my snare. There's absolutely no escape route planned for the prince.
So the leader is caught exiled, can't even see the land of exile, and dies there. What about his entourage, his staff, his army?
They don't fare any better. The Lord says, I will scatter to the winds all those around him, his staff and all his troops, and I will pursue them with drawn sword.
Scattered to the winds, pursued. So, complete dissolution of the power structure.
Total dismantling. It's devastating judgment.
So what's the point of all this? Is it just pure punishment for being rebellious?
The text gives a very clear purpose. The result of all this suffering and dispersion is, they will know that I am the Lord when I disperse them among the nations and scatter them through the countries.
Ah, okay. So the experience itself, the catastrophe, is meant to force a recognition they were avoiding.
Exactly. To strip away illusions and make them confront the reality of the God they'd ignored. The suffering is meant to lead to knowing. Painful knowing, but knowing nonetheless.
But amidst all that harsh judgment, there's also this little, almost surprising mention of mercy, or something like it.
Yes, there is. It's quite significant. The Lord says, but I will spare a few of them from the sword, famine, plague.
Why spare any, though, if the judgment is so thorough?
The reason given is really key. It's so that in the nations where they go, they may acknowledge all their detestable practices.
So the survivors aren't just spared randomly. They have a role. Witnesses.
Exactly. They're meant to be witnesses who've gone through the fire, understand the consequences firsthand, and can finally confess why it all happened. And then, through that whole process, truly know that I am the Lord. So even in judgment, there's this thread of hope for understanding and acknowledgement among the remnant.
Okay, so that covers the first big symbolic act, the exile performance, the prince's fate, the purpose behind it all. But then the word comes to Ezekiel again, second command.
Right. This time it's different. Not about packing and leaving, but about internal state, he's told. Tremble as you eat your food and shudder in fear as you drink your water.
So another physical enactment, but this one is about constant anxiety, fear during the most basic daily things.
Precisely. It's about a pervasive dread infecting everyday life. And again, there's a direct interpretation for the people. Ezekiel has told them that they will eat their food in anxiety and drink their water in despair.
Eating and drinking with anxiety and despair. Wow. That paints a picture of a society just fundamentally broken, where there's no peace, no security, even in basic survival. It sounds deeply unsettling.
It really is. It speaks to a complete breakdown of well-being. And the reason, why this constant fear? The text says, their land will be stripped of everything in it because of the violence of all who live there.
So their own internal violence leads to this external stripping and internal despair, cause and effect.
Directly linked. And the outcome is the inhabited towns will be laid waste and the land will be desolate. And then we hear that phrase again.
Then you will know that I am the Lord.
Yep. Both the big dramatic exile and the quiet pervasive fear serve the same ultimate purpose. Forcing acknowledgement, leaving no room for doubt about the God they've denied. It's judgment as, well, a very harsh education.
It seems, though, that even with these signs, the people had ways of brushing them off. They had developed, popular sayings or proverbs to dismiss the warnings.
Yes, this part shows their active resistance wasn't just ignoring, it was rationalizing. They had cultural tools for denial. The first proverb mentioned is, the days go by and every vision comes to nothing.
Right. Basically, we've heard this doom and gloom stuff before. Time passes, nothing happens, these prophecies just fizzle out. It's skepticism mixed with maybe wishful thinking.
A very human response, I think. Delay feels like safety, if it hasn't happened yet. But the Lord's reaction to this proverb is powerful. He says, I am going to put an end to this proverb, and they will no longer quote it in Israel.
He's literally canceling their excuse, taking away their comforting slogan of delay.
Exactly. And he replaces it with the opposite. The days are near when every vision will be fulfilled. Near, not far off. And he clarifies, no more false visions or flattering divinations, no more easy outs or misleading hopes.
It's a declaration of certainty, but also imminence. The time for waiting is over.
And the Lord really drives it home, emphasizing his personal involvement and the speed. I, the Lord, will speak what I will, and it shall be fulfilled without delay. And he points right at them. For in your days, you rebellious house, I will fulfill whatever I say.
In your days, not some future generation. It's happening to them now.
Undeniably present tense. And just in case that wasn't clear enough, they apparently had another saying.
Yeah, a variation on the theme.
Pretty much. The people also say, the vision he sees is for many years from now, and he prophesies about the distant future. Same idea. Push it off. Make it abstract, make it someone else's problem.
Still trying to dodge the immediacy of it.
Right. And the Lord's final response in the chapter just slams the door on that excuse. It's definitive. Therefore say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says. None of my words will be delayed any longer. Whatever I say will be fulfilled, declares the sovereign Lord.
That really feels like the final word, doesn't it? The mic drop. No more debate about timing. What I said will happen, and it will happen now. It's such a direct challenge to that tendency we all have to procrastinate facing consequences.
Absolutely. Ezekiel 12 is this layered message. Shocking actions, internal dread, direct verbal confrontation, all aimed at shattering the denial of a people who refuse to see. The judgment is coming, it's coming soon, and the whole point is that through it, they will finally know the God they've tried so hard to ignore.
So wrapping up this deep dive into Ezekiel 12, what we see is this incredibly vivid picture of prophecy performed. It's an unavoidable demonstration of judgment for a people stuck in, well, willful blindness. The exile enactment, the described anxiety, the destruction of their comforting illusions, it's all driving toward one outcome, getting them to acknowledge reality and know the Lord.
It really shows the lengths communication might need to go to when facing deep-seated resistance, using every tool, action, emotion, direct words.
And thinking about it now, how does this challenge us? You know, our own tendency to think consequences are always later. We're pretty good at telling ourselves that the results of our actions, personal, societal, whatever, are far off, someone else's problem down the road. Ezekiel 12 just stands there and says, nope, sometimes it's in your days.
It really forces you to confront the potential immediacy of consequence, to question that comfort we take in delay.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with, something to chew on from this chapter. Think about that power of symbolic action compared to just words. Ezekiel didn't only talk, he dug through a wall, covered his face, trembled. Why was that performance maybe absolutely essential for this audience, the ones with eyes to see but do not see? And what does that suggest about communicating hard truths today? Are there times when just explaining isn't enough? When the message needs to be shown, demonstrated, maybe even in uncomfortable ways to actually cut through the noise and the denial?
It certainly suggests that sometimes you need to engage people on a level beyond just the intellectual, maybe something more visceral, to make a real impact when they're determined not to listen.
Definitely something worth thinking about. Thanks for diving in with us today.